this is what we're doing, and I would see it as an input into your meetings, and I would like to see it recognized so. And I told him that when we first met, and then when we second met, and I just wrote him a note because he put out a little letter to the participants saying that the planning is advancing, everybody has confirmed their participation, I got the money in hand, in a couple of weeks I'll have a more put together program. So I wrote him and said what I just said, that we wanted we were putting together a statement that should be useful in your deliberations. And since everybody that he has on his list that I know and can reach, I'm going to write to and see, we'll put your input into this. So, but now this idea began a year ago, 2 years ago, actually, at the SNCC meeting. I put it out with SNCC people. The 50th anniversary of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee was in Chapel Hill in April of 2010, 60 to 50, but it hasn't quite come together, same as Port Huron hadn't come together 10 days before it happened, so you don't have to worry.
It's a lot to accomplish in a very short period of time. We're talking about 5 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
So Alan, you're imagining a group of people being together in a room for 4 days, 8-hour days, or however long, writing something together.
Well, no, I think that's what I was imagining last December when this letter began to circulate. But it hasn't really gelled. So I'm imagining, a number of people in some rooms doing some different things toward producing, moving along the process. And whatever we can get together on those days, and there's going to be a meeting here on Tuesday evening to talk about program. I tried to put this in the Ann Arbor Observer, and the Observer guy said, well, get your first program as to where it's going to be and when it's going to be and what its title is going to be, and then I can list that there are going to be other programs or the website where they can get the whole thing. And so on Tuesday we're going to get the website clear. What is our address? What is our little listing? And maybe there's going to be a place at Eastern for the Thursday night program or Thursday program, or maybe it's going to be the Hathaway Hideaway, or I don't know. I gotta get on it. It'll be somewhere, and I'll get something in the Observer, which is only a formality. But basically, I'm hoping that the Occupy people here and in Ann Arbor and in Ypsi and at the and the Washtenaw Community Action Team and the local WILF people and progressive women activists and Great Panthers and the networks I know could take it as an occasion to, well, let's get our shit together locally here in southeastern Michigan. And there are some people who said they're going to write something. So there will be some documents. And I have some writing that I did back in this union campaign that I'm intending to dust off and see as an approach to how to formulate a platform or a program. And whatever comes out of this, some document plus or notes plus a way to proceed, will take into the Occupy meeting, national meeting in Philadelphia, and see what goes from there. And I'm hoping that our strategy is to put out the question, what should be in a manifesto for now? What are the clear guiding lines in as many ways as we can? Through one of the people is doing a digital magazine through the a website, through Facebook, through all these social networks. Not particularly trying to get it at this point all in one place as much as trying to get everybody in their place talking about this question. What really do we need to, in our heads, get together to, is how to move forward.
Is the new SDS involved, or are they?
You know,
Is that structure still? I heard that they relaunched in 2006, and
they relaunched in 2006 and they split in 2008 or 9. And there's a new SDS that has about 40 groups. And there is a organization for free society, which I don't know how many groups it has, but they're involved here locally.
So are they likely to send people? I mean,
They
will you
could
be
be,
reaching out to
could
those?
be, yes, that's what my job is we have at this next meeting, just get enough of a particular sense that I can send out a letter, well, here it's happening, and it's, when I went to the May Day in Ypsilanti, and people said, well, why don't we have it here? Ypsilanti is, much more, friendly.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, that's good, let's see. And so we're going to try and see.
Okay.
And if we could get a venue in Ypsilanti that could host something, and similarly in Ann Arbor, we could go back and forth, bring the places together.
Mm-hmm.
And as to what would be the program, how we would occupy ourselves, certainly there should be one on Occupy Patriarchy, the group that came out of the feminist group of the Occupy Ann Arbor. So, but I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. When I got to write it down, I would write something, but I would rather somebody else tell me what they think would be a good idea.
You've got a whole month to figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm very, I'm up to being able to flexibly change.
Well,
I would like it if 1,000 people came and they said this is a time for a movement jamboree and jubilee for 50 years and looking forward. But neither me nor anybody else has done the work for that, and if it happened, it would be sort of chaotic. And I'm looking for who has an extra room in their house, an extra bed, a place on the floor, or should people decide to come in, that we can house them. But that's the simplest is.
Mm-hmm.
This Port Huron statement was an important gathering of people, and it did advance some thinking, and we should try that again. We are much too fragmented, and our thinking is all over the place between climate calamity and fascism. Where do we, what are the questions that have to be on the table?
Yeah, the one, that's probably a natural place to stop the interview, but I have one other question. I'm curious, at the time you mentioned that you had legislative support, that you had people in Congress that were interested in what you were doing with the Port Huron statement, and they were kind of pushing you forward. I don't get the sense that there's any of that now. I mean, are there friendly people inside the Beltway that would care?
There are thousands of them, and all these little nonprofits and organizations that didn't used to exist.
But I'm talking legislators, like people in
Well,
in Congress.
I expect that Bernie Sanders cares about what we're doing,
Sure.
and conceivably Al Franken does. Barbara Lee does. John Conyers does. But this is not, I don't know what the legislative program is.
Yeah, I was just.
I'm not. Our view of realignment was a realignment into the Democratic Party or of the Democratic Party, and I think my view now, to mature and rigorous discussion, is a realignment out of the Democratic
Right.
Party.
So
And I think the form is not to another party, but to an independent fusion of from many sources and ballot access through the write-in. I don't think we're going to, in the short term, break the lock on this process that the legal requirements have. But there's nothing to prevent somebody, if they want to change, to write in Jill and Jack, if that's who would come to stand for an independent program. But I don't think that's going to happen on this election. It could well be the form for 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been the form now if we had begun to differentiate ourselves and establish an independent relation with the Obama people, that you can't just fire everybody who's progressive or shun them once they start catching the heat, and we want our place at the table. So he's not looking at that, and myself, I want a different table. So as a table maker, you may know, I made the table for the meeting to make peace. So
it's just
we can't go to your table, you come to our table.
it's just such a complicated. You talked about kind of undoing the knot before. It's just such an. I mean, it's campaign finance. It's. I mean, there's everything is, and I guess that was my question, was how, whether the whole system is so corrupt that you can't really. Like previously with SDS, you were trying to reform the Democratic Party. You were trying to force out the Dixiecrats and move things forward. But now it seems like there's a realization that we got to do something outside the system.
Yes, well, it's now as then. It is an inside outside. We got to have a program that is sort of clamoring for attention within the political system, as for instance single payer health care. That isn't a dead issue. Maybe the Supreme Court is going to revive it by striking down the.
Yeah, it might be a good thing.
Yeah,
if they strike it down, it might put it back on the agenda, and maybe we can actually make some real progress. So.
Not that what was done doesn't help some people, and that's always, you get sucked into a reform because of, this autistic kid is going to get some help. Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
So how to hold two processes in one's mind at the same time? How do we work to actually deal with what's happening? And how do we create the framework in which people can envision a real shift? And where I had come to at the end of the 60s with all our militants is that we are a whole a generation of revolution wanters, but without an actual plan of how the revolution happens. How does the actual moment of the change of power from one framework to another, how does that take place? And when you push any of the radical movements, we don't know, or armed struggle. We create so much chaos, the state will come down on us, the people will rise up, we will, the police will lay down their guns or whatever. And what I felt the Union plan was an actual plan, step by step, of how to develop a popular consciousness, how to develop a team that could be a new government, how to put that forward, how in the moment of actual sovereignty at the ballot box people could take the chance on a change and vote outside the box.
Right. I think that's maybe a good place to stop.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. I have to run to go to another meeting, but
Okay,
this
well,
is a good first step, and we'll put this online, assuming the audio all works out, and